So yesterday, the Dodgers sent down their Rookie of the Year candidate, James Outman, but they can afford to do that because Mookie Betts and Ohtani, they both went yard. Ohtani reties Gunnar Henderson for the league lead in home runs, and Aaron Judge, he's right there as well, which is crazy to say out loud because he was just in the worst slump of his entire life. Paul Skenes just became the first player in MLB history to do this, and yeah, the Twins, they got hosed by 3 or 4 bad umpiring calls, and as a Guardians fan who was facing the Twins, I felt really lucky. We're going to talk about all of that and more in today's MLB Recap. We post these every single day, so stick around and hit that subscribe button. Also, as always, don't forget to use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save 20 bucks off all of your tickets. And also, if you're into daily fantasy sports, my code Fuzzy on Underdog Fantasy will get new users up to a $250 bonus credit. You're welcome. Now, unfortunately, before we start the recap and the highlights, we have an awful update in terms of health updates. Jung-Hoo Lee is out for the year after suffering a torn labrum on this attempted robbery at the fence. He had a few home runs, a few stolen bases. He also had one of the strongest arms in baseball, along with some pretty good speed. So I think that he still has a very bright future. I'm just crossing my fingers and praying for a speedy recovery because that's a big time loss for the Giants. That was one of the big fish free agents of the offseason, and he's gone for the year. Now, I will say, despite the fact that the Rockies jumped out to an early lead versus the Giants, they showed that even without Jung-Hoo Lee, they got some pieces to be good. The Rockies, again, they scored 3 on doubles from McMahon and Brendan Rodgers. Matt Chapman, he was also a new addition over the offseason along with Lee. He contributed with an RBI double. That's big. He's got to go on a Chapman hot streak because he's known for that. He's really, really good for a month, and then he sucks for the next 2 or 3, and then he's good again. Colorado rookie Jordan Beck showed off that sweet swing again. He's got 4 extra base hits and 7 RBIs in his first 55 big league at-bats. That dude's got motion, and so does this guy. Luis Matos is seeing beach balls ever since he got called up, and I told you, the Giants, they have pieces. Tyro Estrada, he's on pace to have his best power season by far, make it 7 home runs and 24 RBIs for Estrada. Matos, he took over along with another top prospect. Luis, he squibbed an infield base hit for another RBI, and look who it is, the former super prospect Marco Luciano. He's really fizzled out at the big league level, so he's no longer in the top young player conversations, but he singled for San Francisco's 8th run, and that set up this moment right here. Luis Matos lifted one just over the leaping McMahon at third base. How about a 5 RBI game? If Matos keeps this up and Luciano finally figures out big league pitching and then they get Blake Snell back, the Giants, they can make a comeback. Now, I'm sure you've seen this game already because Paul Skenes, I mean, he's a clips machine. MLB was posting it. I was posting it. You've probably already seen it, but it was everywhere. And for good reason, too. He struck out the side in the first inning. He was dotting 100+ miles an hour with movement. So it's not just 100, it's also moving. I mean, look at that belly strikeout. Then he broke out the splinker versus Morel to start the second, which is a combination of a splitter and a sinker, which sounds awful, by the way. Bush, he goes down on the slider. Skenes is smiling. He is now feeling himself. He then got Miles Mastroboni on the 101 painted fastball to make it 6 consecutive strikeouts to begin the game. And now he's got the lead. Jerry Triolo teed up a hanging changeup thing. It could have been a fastball from Hendricks for all we know. I don't know if that's mean, but Skenes, he was being mean to the Cubs. He made history with his 7th consecutive strikeout to begin the game. That is a Pirates franchise record. Pete Crow Armstrong, he ruined the streak, and they were laughing about it because Paul, he did his PFPs, he covered first base, but I'm almost positive because they're both super prospects. They've played each other over the last few years, so they had some fun. The Pirates scored 3 in the 4th on a Yasmani single, and then 2 scored after Triolo put it in play, and the defense for the Cubs just kind of did the rest. So it's 5-0 for Skenes, who was all-time nasty, and that's not me being dramatic or fanboying. Tachman, he struck out for the 2nd time, and then Happ, he couldn't catch up to the 100 fastball, make it 9 strikeouts, and no, Paul, he loses the perfect game. He walks Michael Bush, and then Paul bared down 2 seconds later for his 10th strikeout of the game, and then this strikeout to end the 6th inning ends his night. He leaves with 11 punch-outs, no hits. He only allowed 1 base runner. He just became the first player ever to have double-digit strikeouts in the same game that he threw 6 innings and did not allow a single base hit within the first 2 games of a career. It's a mouthful, but hey, it's history. The Pirates scored a bunch. I'm not going to show every single run, but I will show McCutchen blasting off for the 305th time in his career. This is a turning point for the Pirates franchise. What fans have been waiting for the last few years. Jared Jones and Paul Skenes, they could be the next Verlander and Garrett Cole. Both of those dudes are going to be in Cy Young conversations for the next decade, and same with the guy in this next game. Wait for it. Javier Baez. This was his best game in a while. He had an RBI single the other way, and Kerry Carpenter, we call him Kerry Barnes. He hit that double like he was playing darts, like that was a perfect spot. He drove home 2 on a triple. Colt Keith, Attaboy, he sprayed another ball to right field, and rookie Wencel Perez, he refuses to stop producing. He's now hitting .291 with 9 RBIs after that double. Colt Keith wanted another RBI. If Detroit gets Colt going and Javi somehow keeps connecting and finding gaps, he did it again right there for 2 more RBIs. Riley Green, I mean, this is just getting embarrassing if you're a Diamondbacks fan. His RBI single set up Kerry Bonds and a chance to make it double digits. And of course, when I'm calling you Kerry Bonds, you're going to make it happen. He goes to the right center gap, a big 4 RBI night to give him 22 RBIs on the year. He also has a near 140 OPS plus. So much scoring happened that I forgot to talk about the guy who's in the Cy Young conversation. Tarek Skubal, he struck out 6 Diamondbacks, right? That's cool. That's fine. What if I said he only allowed 1 base hit and walked no one? So kind of the inverse of Paul Skenes. Skenes had 1 walk, no hits. Tarek Skubal had 1 hit, no walks. He got through 6 shutout on 74 pitches, and over his last 15 games dating back to last year, Tarek is 9-1 with a 1.58 ERA and 118 strikeouts. Javi's at it again. He beats Kerry's 4 RBI day with a huge 5 RBI night. Imagine if we just witnessed the game, like the game that saved Javier Baez's career and turned it around. The Tigers, they're back to 500. They're 22-22. Now, because we just talked about the Tigers, let's see what the Royals, Twins, and Guardians did. And would you look at that? The Twins are in Cleveland, so 2 birds with 1 stone. Now, again, let me be the first to say that even as a Guardians fan, we got some big-time breaks. Thank you, umpires. You blew it, but blew it for us. Thank you. Definitely a controversial game, but there was nothing controversial about that. Alex Kirilloff, he broke the scoreless streak, not just of the game, but Minnesota had gone 28 consecutive innings without a run scored. And now I got a question for you guys. What day was yesterday? It was Friday. David Fry saves Cleveland again. Simeon Woods-Richardson had a brilliant start, and it was ruined on 1 pitch that he didn't even throw. David Fry out of nowhere now has 4 home runs, 15 RBIs, and a 193 OPS plus. Tristan McKenzie, he's been a workhorse, and remember, he's pitching with a partially torn UCL. He almost went 7 innings, and just that 1 home run to Kirilloff, he racked up 5 strikeouts, and over his last 6 starts, he has a 2.1 ERA and 35 strikeouts with a torn UCL. That's huge, and this is huge as well. Hunter Gaddis got the former Cleveland great Carlos Santana to swing over a breaking pitch, so we head to the 8th. Minnesota, they had a runner on second, and there should have been more runners. Kyle Farmer, he clutched up to tie it, and it could have been a 2-run double, but Willie Castro, he was called out on a bad pitch. So again, I'll give Twins fans that. So instead of a tie game, Jose, he just won it. J-Ram hit an absolute no-doubter off the nasty Johan Duran. He was beating his chest and told the crowd to get loud. You already know I was hyped up. I was in my new City Connects, which I love. Emmanuel Clase went 1-2-3 in the 9th inning, and again, he got some help as well. Correa, he struck out on a pitch at his ankles, and yeah, Clase now has 13 saves. The Guardians send the Twins to their 4th loss in a row, and got to shout out MLB for that game. Thank you. Completely botched it. The Guardians look great, but they can't afford to not play great because the Kansas City Royals are not messing around this year. I know the Royals faced the A's, and Oakland has now lost 5 in a row coming into this one, but it's how Kansas City won this game that is kind of scary. Salvi, he's able to beat out an RBI single, so the umpires got it wrong again, but the replay overturned it. He's hitting .335 with 34 RBIs. He's also walking a lot more, so all of a sudden he's taking walks and framing pitches as a catcher. He has career highs in both of those categories to start this season. Michael Massey wants a new career high in home runs. He's up to 4 after that 2-run tater, and I had no idea that he had 15 last year, so he's got some work to do. Maikel Garcia is up with runners in scoring position, so just like Alec Bohm, you already know what's about to happen. Not only does he get a hit, he hit 1 out. He has 5 home runs and 20 RBIs on the year, right? He has 4 home runs and 24 RBIs with runners in scoring position, so pretty much all of his damage this year has come when the Royals need him the most. Tarek Skubal, Cole Reagans was on the bump again. This dude is literally a Tarek Skubal 2.0. Cole Reagans tossed 7 disgusting shutout frames. He struck out 7 A's along the way. Now, before we go to the next game, I do want to show Shea Langolier's 2-run home run because he's now in the double-digit home run club. He's ahead of guys like JT Realmuto, Jonah Heim, and some other big-name catchers in terms of F4, so they definitely got a good one in Shea Langoliers. Geloff, he rolls over. The Royals are now 27-19 because of their top 10 pitching staff in terms of ERA and in terms of runs scored. They're just outside the top 10 as an offense. All right, I've kept you Yankees fans waiting long enough. This might be the hottest Aaron Judge has ever been, which is nuts. He's got 12 home runs and he's leading baseball in walks. That's because over his last 22 games, he has 9 home runs, 20 walks, and a .05 on base percentage. He's getting on base half the time. Don't forget the 9 doubles and 370 batting average over those last 22. Judge, he took a walk in the 4th. He advanced to 2nd on a pass ball, and Verdugo, he dunked one into shallow right to score Judge. Stanton, he traded places with Verdugo like 2 seconds later. I'm not sure why Doogie is batting cleanup, but maybe the protection from Stanton will play well over the long term. I don't know. Nestor Cortez, he was weaving his way through 6, including this pickoff of Remillard, and then I don't know what the heck this was, but Cortez, he's known for messing with timing. He was twisting and turning for a solid 3 seconds, and then airmailed it over everyone, and then what is this? What is going on? Laz Diaz, the home plate umpire, he was not having that quick pitch. I've never seen Nestor show that kind of emotion. He channels it and struck out Corey Julks a few seconds later, so he's through 6. Now, staying in the 6th, this is very, very bad. Stanton, he's been flipping bats left and right. That's 10 home runs. He's now hitting .311 with 4 home runs over his last 11 games. I think Nestor Cortez went 7 innings on 5 strikeouts. Judge and Stanton, they both homered. Clay Holmes, he lowered his ERA to, well, you can't have a lower ERA than 0. He's got 13 saves. The strikeouts are up. The walks are down. The Yankees have not looked this lethal in years. The Yankees just became the 2nd team in baseball to 31 wins. They're actually tied with the Phillies, so Philly, they're going to try and break the tie and get to 32. JT and Alec got it going quick off of the Washington starter Jake Irvin, and JT's going to try and score from first. He does score, so Alec Boehm's 18th double plates his 37th RBI. By the way, those 18 doubles lead baseball. Zach Wheeler, he struck out my friend, but then walked Ildemaro Vargas on 4 pitches. So Kyber Ruiz, he smoked one to center, and Johan Rojas, he's got all-time range, but it's just out of reach. Vargas, he scores easy on Ruiz's first double of the year. I did not know that Kyber had a 21 OPS plus. My God. Maybe that unlocks something for him. I don't know. Jake Irvin gave the Phillies another free run, and then Marsh, after he breezed home, more on him. Schwarber, he tapped a pitch for an RBI, and then there's Marsh again. He rips one for 2 bases, and my other friend Bryson Stott trots home. Now we're back to my friend Joey Gallo strikes out. That is 70 strikeouts for Zach Wheeler on the year. CJ Abrams, he finally broke out of a big-time slump. He had not gotten a base hit in 5 or 6 games. He's up to 19 extra base hits. He can score if Nick Castellanos can't make the play. The Phillies were within nanometers of getting 2 web gems and saving both runs, but Washington, they do score 2. It just wasn't enough against the Philly staff. Zach Wheeler now has a 2.5 ERA, which is insane. Jeff Hoffman, he got his 3rd save. He has a 0.9 ERA. Lots of good teams, but I will say this. Imagine if we got a rematch of the 2019 World Series. The Yankees versus the Phillies. That would be sick. The Phillies pick up win number 32. The Yankees, they're obviously in first place in the AL, but Baltimore is very good as well, and they have a superstar, like I don't even know what to call Gunnar Henderson anymore. He's a full-blown megastar. That's his 13th home run. He's only 22 years old, yet he's on pace for a 50-20 season and a 10F WAR. Like, what even is that? Baltimore, they grabbed their 2nd run on a Seattle error, so this next swing, that's going to double their lead on a double. Colton Cowser, he's really fallen back down to earth, but the talent is still there. He can be a 30-double, 20-home run guy for the next decade, at least in my opinion. Santander, he's been swatting a lot of extra base hits as well. He's not going to get another one because the no-fly zone was in Baltimore. J-Rod robs Anthony of his 8th home run, and this next clip made me very happy because I've been a fanboy over Jorge Mateo for as long as I can remember. Back when he was with the A's in AAA, he is the fastest human I've ever seen with my own eyes. He shows off the speed right there. He has 5 stolen bases, 10 extra base hits, and 74 at-bats, which is great production for a guy who was supposed to be a backup player. Gunnar shows off the wheels now as well. He's not quite as fast as Mateo, who's top 1% fast, but Gunnar, he gets a triple. Ali found a hole as well. Is he going to get a triple? Nope, it's going to be an RBI double. Austin Mays, he then traded places with Ali for the 4th consecutive extra base hit of the inning. Shout out to John Means, by the way. He struck out 4 over 6. The Orioles, they win their 28th game in blowout fashion. Staying with the blowouts, let's just get this game over with real quick. I thought Otto Lopez got a hold of another one. His sac fly got the Marlins on the board off the rookie Christian Scott, and oof. It's 4-0 in the blink of an eye. Catcher Nick Fortes has been one of the worst hitters in baseball, but he does have some juice in that bat from time to time. Christian got himself into more trouble in the 4th, but he did get jazzed on a nasty off-speed pitch. He got him chasing. De La Cruz popped up, and then would you look at that? I know the kid gave up 4 runs, but that's big. He loaded the bases and then got 3 consecutive outs. We're going to head to the 6th inning, and if I would have told you Jazz never played outfield until 2 years ago, I don't know if you would have believed me because he makes these catches routinely. Jesus Luzardo was fired up after that gem, and he had himself a gem as well. 6 shutout with 7 strikeouts, no walks. If Luzardo doesn't walk anyone, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, straight up. Miami ran it up to 8 runs after a bunch of different plays. You had a wild pitch. There was a sac fly from De La Cruz. Josh Bell, he had an RBI. RBI rollover, and then Jake Berger, he beat out Lindor's throw for an RBI. Berger can kind of move for a hefty little fella, and Bell, he got back picked for the third out. So the Marlins, they blow out the Mets at home, and for the first time since 2005, the Marlins have thrown 3 shutouts in a row. I don't remember if Josh Beckett was on the 05 Marlins, but I feel like he was. Ooh, the first 6 innings of this Reds and Dodgers game set this thing up to be a classic. I mean, classic for a regular season game, but regardless, Mookie, he mashed a home run the same day. He got a 99 card in MLB The Show 24. By the way, I debuted him on my gaming channel, Fuzzy Gaming. Go check it out. We're closing in on 100,000 subs. Shohei Ohtani has completely dominated Frankie Montas in his career. That's 5 home runs and 25 at-bats. That's the most Shohei has against any pitcher. Ohtani and Gunnar are now tied at 13 home runs. Ohtani's hitting .358, by the way. Now, the Reds hit the power swing a few times as well. They got 1 across on an error from LA, and then Stuart Fairchild made it a 1-run game. Stewart now has 3 home runs, 5 stolen bases, and a whopping 9 DRS. I thought that this was going to be what Miles Straw was going to be. Tyler Stevenson is trying to remind people he is a catcher who rakes. I mean, he's hitting .302 with 3 home runs over his last 17 starts. The game is knotted up at 3-3. Ohtani, he got stopped in the 7th, but now he's like unstopped because Ellie threw it past him. Like, bro, you got to know the situation. Just hold it. Ohtani can fly. He was going to be safe, so you just got to hold it. They then walked Freddie to set up a force out, but you're not out of the woods because you got to face Will Smith. That Ellie error does in fact haunt them. Ohtani scores, and Freddie sprinted home on a wild pitch to make it 5-3. Hayward, he must not like 5-3 leads or something like that because that ball was launched. His first game off the IL, he goes for a 2-run home run, and they actually just sent down James Outman, who finished 3rd in the Rookie of the Year race last year, but he's hitting 147, so it's warranted. Hoping he figures it out. The Dodgers, yeah, they're in the 30-win club now. From one LA team to the next, I know they're not actually in LA. I didn't pick the team name, okay? Blame Artie Moreno. Jonah Heim said, see you later. That home run counted the same as this next goofy play. Pilar, he didn't even mean to swing, but yet he's diving in there for a single, and now it's a run-scoring single. No RBI, though, because it was a throwing error, but Rengifo, he manufactures himself a run. Another error led to Joe Adell beating out a double play, so instead of a solo home run with 2 outs, Zach Neto swats a 2-run home run off the former Angel, Andrew Heaney. Now we have a former Ranger, Willie Calhoun. He was a monster in 2019 with 36 extra base hits in 83 games. He's been locked in lately, which is cool considering his Rangers days were basically ended after getting hit by a pitch. Kyron Paris, he's been hitting laser beams. That is not one of them, but that is a 2 RBI bloop base hit for him. Taylor Ward now has 9 home runs, and tip your cap to Tyler Anderson, 7 innings on just 2 base hits versus the defending champs, who are not playing like champs at all, but they have a lot of injuries, so can you blame them? Look at Willie Calhoun securing a 4-hit night right before Joe Adell gapped one for 2 more RBIs. He now has 20 RBIs and a 126 OPS plus. This Red Sox and Cardinals game basically mirrored the Reds and the Dodgers game that we saw. Lars Nootbaar blasted off, my goodness, 430 feet off of Brian Bayou. But hey, it's all good because he had some help as well. David Hamilton is fast, so when he rips one down the line, you can just pencil in a 2 RBI triple. This game was tied for all of like 4 seconds or something like that when Nolan Gorman sent one the other way, and the baseballs must have been juiced down in St. Louis because Devers, he followed up Gorman's solo home run with a 2-run jack, and Alec Burleson, he turned on a changeup for another home run. Oh, you thought that we were done? After Goldschmidt singled in a run to make it 5-3, the St. Louis rookie Mason Wynn caught a barrel. His first home run of the year is a big one. He makes it 7-3. He's now hitting .280 with 7 stolen bases and 8 DRS. That is insane. Boston, they did a nice job to bounce back with a few more runs, but the Cardinals, they snatched them right back. Burleson is really figuring it out. Like, he's not been bad by any means, but he's now hitting .312 with 15 RBIs over his last 15 starts. That's very impressive. Ivan Herrera, his 8-game hit streak turns into a 9-game hit streak on the 9th run, and Arenado, he smoked an RBI to get it to 10. He had 3 base hits, and this might be the game that gets the entire offense going because the entire offense was slumping 2 weeks ago. Earlier, we saw the Yankees win their 5th in a row, which means that they would have had the longest streak in baseball, but I tried to tell you, the Astros, they're firing on all cylinders. They're trying for win number 6 in a row. Jake Bauers, the former Yankee, maybe he's a secret agent for the Yankees, I don't know, but he wants his former team to have the longest streak. He continues to be one of the weirdest hitters in baseball because he's got 5 home runs, 22 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, which is very good, but he's done this before, and then he hits 190 for 2 months and gets cut. Jake Myers popped off for a game-tying 2-run home run. He's one of the sneakiest athletes in all of baseball. He has 4 outs above average, which is sick defense, and he's also top 1% in speed. Ortiz, Joey, have yourself a month. Why did I say it like that? Joey Ortiz, listen to these stats. Since mid-April, Joey is hitting .350 with 12 extra base hits and a .441 on base percentage. He was an Oriole as well, like a top prospect. Imagine if he was still with him. Freddie Peralta's lead was short-lived, though, because Jeremy Pena, he's so damn back. He's hitting .326 with 5 home runs. 20 RBIs, 6 stolen bases, a 10-game hit streak now after that home run. Josh Hader's in the game now facing his old team, and book it. He strikes out Owen Miller for a 6th save. The Astros have won 6 games in a row. They're only 4 games back of first place. We're going to skip to the 4th inning in this Rays-Jays game because Mr. Tyler Alexander has a perfect game through 4. That nasty change piece got Vladdy to whiff. Make it 5 perfect innings now. He's always been pretty good, but he's never been able to find true consistency. Tampa Bay, they finally got a run across after Vladdy yeeted the ball into left field, and this dude just flat out rakes. Another former Guardian who broke out with the Rays, go figure. Richie now has 4 home runs, 6 stolen bases, and he's playing great defense in the outfield and the infield. Josh Lowe, he had an awful read on the IKF laser, but he makes up for it. That is now 6 perfect innings for Tyler Alexander. Yandy, he blooped in another run for Tampa, making it 4-0. And thank goodness he did that because Jansen, he ruins the perfect game on a little dunk of his own, and then Davis Schneider, he ruins the shutout. Davis has a career 163 OPS plus. Please hit in the top of the order. Kevin Biggio, he makes it a 1-run game. That's why the 4th was so big. But George Springer's awful 2024 got even worse. That double play destroyed the momentum, and the Rays, they hang on and they take game number 1 of the series. This last game was incredibly easy. Wow, Matt Olson, he had an RBI single, but that was matched by back-to-back RBIs from the Padres. That's the game. Bye. Nah, but for real, that's exactly what happened. Profar and Cronenworth made it 2-1 after Matt Olson had that single, and then the other Matt, for the other team, Matt Waldron, the knuckleballer, he struck out a career-high 10 strikeouts from a knuckleballer. Don't get any ideas at MLB The Show. I say that because he actually has 16 strikeouts over his last 11 innings. Robert Suarez, the closer, he was deployed in the 8th inning. He worked out of a jam. He has 17 consecutive scoreless innings. And then Jeremy Estrada, he cooked the Braves. I'm gonna keep it real. Maybe I'm a bad baseball fan. I didn't know that this guy existed. He struck out the side on 16 pitches. He decimated the Braves. The Padres are back to 1 game away from being 500, which is weird to say out loud. And the Braves, they dropped to 3.5 games back of the Phillies. Feels like I've been talking for forever. This was probably a big time recap. But anyways, if you watched until the end, you're a G. Thank you so much. Be safe out there. Enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy these web gems.
As Julian hits one hard left center field, hit pretty hard. Freeman's after the gap, and he makes it flying. Smack to third. Westberg. What a pick. One hot throw. Ground ball towards the hole. Pena backhand. Jump throw on the money. What a stop by Zach Short. What a play. And what a play by Rogers. We've seen great jump, pitch, swung on, back broken. It spins to the netting. De La Cruz on the back pedal has it. Fire to first, double play. Gloved by Remillard. What a play. Cross.
Oh, what a scramble by Gallo. And good coverage by Barnes.